Thank you, donors.
From the bottom of our hearts, we're just so grateful.
My name is Melissa Goldin, and I am a CAP at Vanderbilt University. And I'm so excited to be raising money through Gift of Life's Got Talent. And today I'm going to be singing for you Alone by heart. So here it is. I hear the ticking of the clock. I'm lying here, the room's pitch dark. And I wonder where you are tonight. No answer on the telephone. And the night goes by so very slow. Oh, I hope that it won't end though. Alone. Till now, I always got by on my own. I never really cared until I met you. And now it chills me to the bone. How do I get you alone? How do I get you alone? Thank you.
Any time of the day when a child is born, we courier drivers transport fresh cord bloods from the hospital and deliver them straight to the blood banks for long-term storage. Hopefully, they will once serve as a life-saving transplant for a cancer patient.
Once a stem cell product is collected, it is very important to ensure that nothing goes wrong. We as stem cell transport agents plan with different fallback options, so in case of irregularities we have a plan B to ensure that the stem cells reach the patient on time and in the right condition. I am a stem cell transport agent and I support saving lives.
When a cancer patient searches for a suitable stem cell donor, we logistics managers make sure that their blood samples arrive in the lab safe and in time. I'm a sample logistic manager and I support saving lives.
We stem cell trainers make sure to share all our experience with each courier so that every transport mission can be a success. I am a stem cell courier trainer and I support saving lives.
Did you ever wonder how freshly donated blood stem cells travel globally to cancer patients in need? We stem cell couriers hand carry each individual transplant to even the remotest places on Earth. Direct, secure, and as fast as possible. I'm a stem cell courier and I support saving lives.
Corruption of materials like cord blood or cell therapy products cannot be X-rayed. It must be handled with utmost care. We, special cargo agents, make sure that life-saving products are treated appropriately with air transport procedures. I'm a special cargo handling agent and I support saving lives.
When cell therapy products are bound to fly as air cargo, they go through many hands. It is essential that everyone involved knows what they're dealing with. We are airside monitoring agents, supervise the cargo procedure on the tarmac, and are advocates of our life-saving products transported. I'm an airside monitoring agent and I support saving lives.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, traveling of stem cell couriers was heavily restricted. At certain times, only freighter aircraft were operating and stem cell transplants could not be accompanied by their couriers. We cargo pilots took care of thousands of transplants, bringing them to destinations worldwide so that cancer patients had a chance of surviving. I am a cargo pilot and I support saving lives.
Is this Jeopardy?
Yes, kind of.
My wife and I watch it every night.
Hand it to you? Sure. Okay. First thing I'd like you to do is just read what's on the card.
Adjective, very brave. Synonyms, brave, courageous, superhuman.
What word do you think that definition is describing?
Heroic. Important.
Courageous.
What kind of person do you think that word describes?
Someone who's selfless.
Somebody who's willing to, risk their own well-being for betterment of others.
I think it describes someone who has their moral compass straight.
And what if I told you that we all think that is the word that describes you?
That's nice, but it's kind of humbling.
Well, that would be, that would be nice, but I don't really see it that way. It's flattering.
Nah, I'm not a hero. I just did the right thing. I just think that I did what anyone else would do if called to be a match. How can you not?
I was like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity. There's no way to turn this down.
You are literally helping someone else in a way that nobody else can help him.
A gift of life donor is anyone you see walking down the street. Anyone has the potential to do it.
Sorry.
I don't think any of these words apply because they don't do it justice. That was a good game.
In the summer of 2018, 16-year-old Rosalind Kate Mance was diagnosed with two rare blood diseases.
I had my bone marrow biopsy done and I was diagnosed with aplastic anemia and PNH.
The only cure for the life-threatening disorders was a stem cell transplant, but none of her family were a match.
I was completely heartbroken when I found out that I wasn't a match for my sister Rosalind. It just was devastating that I couldn't help her in that way.
25% of patients are fortunate enough to find a match within their own family. However, for those other 75% of patients, they're reliant on an unrelated stem cell donor. When it comes to stem cell transplantation, you're much more likely to find a match within somebody of the same ethnic background as you. And this is why it's really important to build a stem cell registry that's reflective of the unique ethnic diversity that we have here in Canada.
Canadian Blood Services, a national not-for-profit organization, found a match for Rosalind through its stem cell registry, and Rosalind received her transplant in February 2019.
Stem cells do save lives. I'm living proof of it. Hopefully, whenever the time is right and I get to meet my donor, I'd like to thank them personally.
We actually oversee Canada's blood system in all of the provinces and territories outside of Quebec. So we collect red cells, plasma, platelets, and we also run Canadian Blood Services stem cell program. The program consists of an adult stem cell donor registry where volunteer donors can join the stem cell registry.
The process for me to donate bone marrow to Canadian Blood Services was a really positive experience. I felt very lucky to be part of that and to help somebody else that needed bone marrow.
Aged 18, Timothy White was matched with his stem cell recipient, Colleen Liqueurs, after registering at a Comic-Con event.
A bit later they called me and said, you want to do some testing? Did some testing, some more testing, some more testing, and eventually they said, do you want to save a life? And absolutely.
I actually got all his contact right prior to Thanksgiving, and I thought, what better way than to reach out to Timothy and say, hi, you saved my life. He met my whole family, and they couldn't be any more grateful.
COVID-19 pandemic means that transplant centres in Canada turn to more Canadian donors to help save the lives of patients. Now, more than ever, we need more healthy Canadians who are between 17 and 35 years old to register online and get their swab kit delivered in the mail. Registration is simple and free. Visit blood.ca.
I'm a donor.
I am a donor.
I am a donor.
I am a donor.
I am a donor.
I am.
I am a lifesaver.
I am a hero.
I saved someone's life.
I'm a proud Marrow donor.
I help save someone's future.
If it wasn't for my donor, Perry,
I would not be here today.
I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia.
I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma 21 years ago.
Battling cancer was a very difficult journey.
One with many hardships, heartaches, and pain.
But my donor gave me hope, a new beginning.
A second chance at life. A second chance to be a wife.
To be a mom to my 4 beautiful boys. A wife to my husband. A daughter.
And especially a grandmother. I would also like to help educate the world on why it is so important to be a donor. So for that, I want to say thank you.
And for that, I say thank you. Thank you for your selflessness.
Thank you for your compassion.
Thank you for saving my life.
Not a donor.
Not on the registry.
Interested in learning how easy it is to save someone's life?
Marrow registries around the world always need more heroes.
This has changed my life, and I'm so grateful that the small act that I was able to contribute has enabled him to have a story. If you are interested in joining the Bone Marrow Registry, please visit the MarrowMates website to make a choice that will not only change your own life, but will change the lives of everyone around you.
Register to be a lifesaver today.
Today I have the pleasure with speaking with both Garrett and Ian, who are respectively bone marrow and stem cell donors. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the process and their own experiences in the donation process. Before we begin, I'd like to start off with introductions. So maybe Ian, you can introduce yourself and tell us things that are important to you.
My name is Ian Nettle. I'm from Nova Scotia. I'm 23 years old. I donated stem cells back when I was 19, so a few years back now. And yeah, that's That's basically it.
Awesome. Garrett, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Garrett Eddy. I am 24 years old. I donated my bone marrow about 2 years ago now, and that was a part of being at Trent University. We swabbed our cheeks and I just became a match, and yeah, it was an incredible experience. And how did you end up doing your stem cells?
So I was in high school when I got swabbed. It just I happened to have a free period while they were doing the swab thing in the cafeteria. I was in the library. One of my friends was like on student council, was running the whole thing, and just said, "Come and do it." I did. I think it must have been 11. I think I was like 17. And then a few years later, I got must have been a phone call or an email. I can't remember. Probably a phone call saying I was a match. And then
like 2 years after.
Yeah, it was after I graduated. So it would have been quite a few years later. I'd totally forgotten that I'd ever done this thing. It was very random. Yeah. But I was like, I guess, like I couldn't think of a reason to say no. So I went along with it. I had to get several blood tests and do the whole thing. And yeah, and it just at no point in the process, because I kept kind of saying like, are you sure? Are you sure? And at no point could I think of like a logical reason to say no. So I just kind of
no, exactly. But you know what? That time that you asked me, yeah, I'm out. I'm not doing.
I was like, if they don't try hard enough, if I have to like put any effort into it, I'm probably just gonna be like, I'm not gonna bother. But at no point did I have to put a lot of like organizational effort into it. So I just kind of let it take me along, and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy process. They kind of like hold your hand through the way to make it an easy process, so you don't have to like try to change up your whole schedule to get it done.
Yeah, and so yours was bone marrow. Was it a similar thing? You got swabbed and then you got a phone call?
Yeah. So basically, a teammate of mine at Trent University, he got diagnosed with cancer. So as a team, we all decided to swab our mouths at practice, and just like as a support for him. And it was like, similar to me. Like 2 years later, I got a call saying, "Hey, you're a potential match. Like, do you still want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Like, why not?" And then it ended up being a bone marrow donation, and like that's pretty rare instead of doing stem cell nowadays. And they're like, "Have you ever had surgery before?" I'm like, "Nope, never." Like, have you ever been put under before? I'm like, "Nope."
I never had any blood work done before doing
really?
it. I never had like a needle there, so I got very used to that, and so it kind of helped cure my fear of needles. Almost, I wasn't like fully phobia of needles, but I really didn't like it, and I've totally chilled out after having to get so many like shots of marrow.
All the tests done. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, have you ever been put under before? I'm like, no. So who knows how my body's gonna react to this? And then I remember like meeting the anesthesiologist. How do you say that? Anesthesiologist. Are you donating this to like a friend or a family member? I'm like, nope. I just got matched up with someone. He's like, oh. And like, are they paying you, or like you're getting time off work, and was work paying you? I'm like, no, I just like I made it work with my work schedule. He's like, wow, that's really nice of you. I was like, okay, you probably wouldn't do it.
I have a question actually. Did you ever end up getting in contact with the person who you donated to?
Unfortunately not. No, haven't heard a single thing. So I don't know if it's been successful or not.
Okay, yeah. I know they offered me, I think a year later, they offered me I could send them my information. So I think I sent them my email address, and then I think all I got back was like, maybe not even their name. It was like their age and their location or something. So I had a rough idea of like who. I never ended up like having any dialogue with them.
At the 1 year mark, I emailed them like, hey, like would love to like get in contact, and then nothing. And then I did a follow up again, and I was like, yeah, again, would love to. And then they're like, yep. Well, and I'm like, because I don't know if it went well or not. So I know it's on the family side if they would want to reach out to me or not.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But hopefully down in the future, it just pops up saying like, hey, we want to talk to you.
I don't want to mess with the structure of also what's going here, but I'm just thinking of questions I'd like off the top of my head now. I was going to ask about like the actual procedure and how different it was for you compared to the thing I did.
Yeah, so like
I never got put under.
Yeah, so my procedure, like I had to get all like the blood tests done to make sure like all my vitals were all good. So this was all done in Hamilton, and then once everything was good, strolled into the surgery room. Like there's like 6 people in there, like the surgeon and then all the helpers. I don't know what they're actually called. Definitely not helpers. But they're like, I walk in and they're all just clapping. I was like, hey guys, like, and they're like, here's our hero. I'm like, well, thanks.
Wow.
and then I like lie down on the bed and they're like, okay, so we're gonna put the anesthesia over top of you. And you're just gonna basically drift away. And the next way, like, you know what, you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be done. I'm like, cool, sounds good with me. And then so like set me back. I just passed out, and I know when they like put it over me, they flipped me over because there's on my lower back. And then next thing I know I woke up. And I was like, that was pretty good. That was quick. That was like, it was a great sleep, whatever I was in. And then pulled me out, and then basically just waited in the waiting room. And like they say, usually when you have anesthesia, you're not hungry after, but I was starving. I was like, so I was just sitting there. I'm like to the nurse, I'm like, is there any like food that I could have or something? We got some like sandwiches in the fridge, but like again, they're hospital sandwiches. I'm like, I'll take 2 because I want to eat. And so I sat there for a while, and I guess it was pretty busy that time. And then took about like another 2 or 3 hours to get dispatched. And then I had to go get some drugs and rest that night. And then the next morning I had to go back in to do a checkup just to check the wound to make sure it's all good. Everything was good, and then went home after that. But that was basically the whole procedure.
Recovery, like, could you walk and everything fine? Like, it wasn't anything too...
Yeah, so the next morning I was able to like just waddle around. Like, it was basically like if you slipped on ice and like you bruised your tailbone, that's what it felt like. So you're just like walking with your back straight and just waddling. And they say like you're supposed to like I did a lot of resting, and I technically played a lacrosse game like a week later, but don't recommend because I didn't like do any like warm-ups prior to. I just like jogged on the field. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel that much pain, so I did it. But like I think it's like a full 2 weeks, like you're back to like completely normal. Right. Maybe 3, depends on the person. But like it didn't like, I think it was like the next 2 or 3 days I just kind of just chilled, and then after that I was fine. Like I was still able to walk around. It's just again like if you had a bruised tailbone, that's what it was like.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How about you? You did stem cells.
Yeah, very different. That's really interesting, actually. I think they talked about that they had to choose between them, and they told me a little bit about what you did, and they were like, "This is a possibility, but it'll probably be the other thing."
Yeah.
Mine was just that I think it was like 5 days in a row I had to go to the hospital in the morning and get a shot in my arm. I think it was like some new drug, GCSF. I think I don't remember what it stands for anymore now, but basically it just made my bones like shoot all the stem cells into my bloodstream. So like it was just a shot every day. I think I felt a little bit achy, but it wasn't really anything like notable. And then after that had been going on for a few days, they got me to lay in a bed, and then they had like a thing in both arms. They were pulling the blood out of one arm into like a machine that sucked all the stem cells out, and then back into my other arm. So it was all just kind of going around, which is really cool thing to like, whenever I play like 2 Truths and a Lie, a lot of time I'll include like all of my blood left my body because no one would believe that. Doesn't sound like possible, but yeah, it all did like multiple times, like 6 times I think, through this machine, which is pretty cool. And so I was there for 2 days in a row for like 8 hours, just laying in bed. I think they gave me like Ativan to just chill me out a little bit, so it was just kind of laying around, listening to music, pretty casual. And this,
was it very similar to like if you just went and like give blood and you just
I would think
that
so.
way?
I didn't really do that before. I think it was even in the same part of the hospital where they do that kind of blood giving stuff. So it wasn't like I was in a big surgery room. It was like a room with a bunch of beds, people just kind of hanging out. I think the one that I'm trying to remember, the one that it was coming out of, I couldn't use that arm, or maybe the other way around. The one I was going into, I couldn't like use that arm, but the other arm I could still move around fine. So it was not too different than giving blood, but just took longer, really.
Yeah, that's. Did you have to prior to it, like you were saying that you had to do multiple like times to like get your like blood tested to make sure? I know myself, like my appointment got changed, I think like 2 or 3 times over like a course of like 4 months, and like each time I had to go get retested because I had to be in like a certain time frame. So that was like the only like annoyance.
Yeah, I think I had to go twice. And there was a long gap between. I think I went the first time, and then it was so long that I thought they'd like pass me over. I thought they kind of forgot about me, and then they were like, oh, actually, no, we still do want you. Come back in. Yeah. But I kind of liked to go to that blood place. Everyone was so nice there. Like, it was kind of a fun little outing to go and like, yeah, you get to talk to the fun nurses. You get to sit there and eat like cookies and chocolate and all.
Yeah. They always make sure you eat like all this stuff. I'm like, I'm good. I just have to go right now, but like, I'll take some to go. Like, are you sure you don't want to sit down and just eat it? I'm like, I'm feeling good, but like, I'll take it to go. So
I love taking it. There was one guy and his whole job was just to chill with the people who had just given blood. And he was the nicest thing ever. It was so fun.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
I think you guys did an awesome job talking about, your experience donating stem cells and bone marrow. I was wondering if you guys like to touch upon why it's important for you to advocate and to talk about these subjects, because I know both of you are pretty involved in that.
Yeah, I think it's because it's good to talk about because people don't realize how important it is and how easy it is. Like, in the scale of things that you can do to like have a positive impact in the world, like, I think it's kind of something everyone wants to do, like maybe even subconsciously or like secretly wants to like be a hero or like do something meaningful. It's such low risk and low effort and such high impact that it's just, why not get your, put a Q-tip in your cheek and give them your saliva. It's so easy.
Yeah, like exactly the same. It's like, it's such an easy thing to do. And I find like people have no idea about any of the procedures, and like, they sound like they're scary procedures when you just like watch a video about it, especially like bone marrow. Like, if you want to like scare yourself up, like watch that and like, okay, you're gonna do that next. But like, I've had just from posting the video I made about it, and just from like letting people know, I've had people reach out, like friends of mine, saying like, hey, I just got contacted, like, can you just let me know like some details about like how it went? And it's just like having more people know about it, and like for people open to talk about it, just makes it like an easier process, because rather than watching a video, it's better for like word of mouth, just to get it out there saying like, hey, this is the procedure, like, don't be scared of it, because it's not as scary at all as what you expect it to be.
Yeah, and from a trustworthy person too, not someone who's got like any ulterior motive to like make it seem like it's not that bad thing and you actually get in there and it actually is scary. Like, no, like, it really is not a big deal.
No, not at all.
Awesome. And I think, you're both aware of this, but one of the difficulties we have is that we have, underrepresentation on the registry, and we really need more young males to be on the registry. So I think the question that a lot of people are having is, how do we get more people to sign up to be donors?
I think just like having like those, like just the pop-ups, especially like at universities too, and like how we had it for like, we just had like at the end of our lacrosse practice, they just came out and we just did it right there on the spot, like very easy to do. So like having them like maybe like like once a semester, just to have it on campus. And I know Trent has done that. I think they probably still do too, but it's just not as popular, like, especially again, like the sports teams. And the thing is, I find too, it's like, I've heard people like, yeah, I swabbed and I got a call and I just didn't want to do it. So it's just like, when you're doing the swab, like, make sure you know that you actually want to do it and not waste anyone's time. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to swab it because everyone else is doing it. And it's just like, make sure that's what I want to do. And so you will say yes if you do get matched up with someone.
Yeah, I think that's a good point of just making it as convenient as possible. Because I think a lot of people would be like, oh, I'd definitely do that. And then they don't make the effort to go out and do it because people just have lives. But if you're like by, and it's
like giving blood, right? It's like there's the blood drives at certain spots. People are like, oh, I'd love to do that, but it's just like it'd be different if it was like, okay, it came to you. You're already on campus. You just really have to walk over to some spot right there.
And the swab is like so much easier than giving blood. Like, anyone can get swabbed in like it's like 10 seconds. So yeah, the more convenient it is, the better. And like exactly we said, on top of that, it being convenient, but also people knowing about how, if they do get the call, not being like scared of it, like having information about what they're actually signing up for, so that when they do get the call, they don't kind of like.
Because I would say when you do get the call, it's like it's more of an intense call. It's not as relaxing if like you and I were just like explaining it. It's because they have like certain things that they have to say, and it's like it's a long list of things, and you're just kind of like, ooh, that's
depending on when they call you, you could just like out with your friends, you could be like, oh my god, like I don't have time to think about this right now. So yeah.
it's like, give me some time to think about this, but like also like, hey, is maybe when they call too, they can have like, hey, here's a few people who have went through this experience, like feel free to reach out if you have any questions. So like maybe adding that into it, and especially like someone like around their age, so they can like relate to them as well, would help. So I guess if more people talking out about it, and like working with them just to make it like a more welcoming process.
Yeah, and like I said before, making it clear the sort of ratio of importance to low effort and like whatever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Thank you again so much. And I think our last question for you guys today is, what message would you like to leave us, this audience, about donation?
I guess overall that it's very important, very easy, but yeah, a very easy way to potentially save a life. So why not, really?
Yeah, that's the like, if you have the time, like you don't need that much time because they work around your schedule. If you want to potentially save someone's life and not really do much, it doesn't take a lot of your life to go do it. It's such an easy process, and they basically like hold your hand through that whole thing, and it's not scary, it's not painful. So it's definitely something that I would 100% recommend, and I would do it again if I had the ability to.
Yeah, easily.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Garrett and Ian, for giving us time today and for being donors. You guys are really amazing, and we love hearing from you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Prepping for surgery.
Surgery time.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel?
Great.
Not nervous?
No.
Good.
Hello. Surgery was a success. It was
Woohoo.
pretty easy.
Good.
Yeah, didn't take too much. Knocked out, and then just woke up, and then everything was good.
Good.
Lots of waiting.
Yeah, definitely. And not too much pain?
No, surprisingly, not as much pain as what I thought. It's actually pretty good. It's a little sore, but pretty easy.
How's it going?
It's going. We're making
Look at you.
Going up. So we got in at 12 o'clock. It is now 10:30.
Yeah.
Long day.
It's been a long day, yeah. Back in the hotel?
Back in the hotel. Popping some pills.
Popping some pills. Day 2.
Day 2. Going for a checkup.
How you feeling?
Honestly, not too bad.
Walking pretty good.
Yeah, feels super sore.
Yeah.
Hard to feel butt. That's I can blur it out.
Yeah.
Video.
So you can just see the tiny little incisions. They're just baby incisions. And we're all done.
Yeah, pretty easy checkup. Everything's good. You don't have to worry about anything. Just keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't bleed, and just rest the next couple days. I'm walking, which is good. So overall, it's a pretty easy process.
Yeah. And the patient will be getting bone marrow in 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
And they're pretty close, which is awesome.
So hopefully things goes well. We'll find out probably in 3 to 5 months.
Yeah.
Everything's successful.
He's taking a picture.
And me and you?
Yeah. You could save her life. Sloane's situation started when she was 11 months old, and she was diagnosed with her first cancer then. We had about a year of chemotherapy.
And then she went 9 months in remission, and during a routine checkup, MRI, they found 2 tumors on the spine, which is typical of this cancer to spread to. Everything was going great for about 10 months until her bone marrow wasn't recovering from all the chemotherapy. We found out she had MDS, which is pre-leukemia. And the only way to help fix this problem is for a bone marrow, which is where we're at today. The odds of having what Sloane has there's about 50 to 60 cases per year. So the odds are so against us, you wouldn't think that this would ever happen to you. And now it's happening. Sloane is an incredible child, and we enjoy every single day, and we live for today.
Her hair's blonde too.
By looking at Sloane, you would never know she's a sick child, that she has these issues. She's happy, she's running around with her sister, and I think having a twin in this situation has helped move her forward and given her that strength. 25% of the time, a sibling will match. Sloane's sister was not a match. We need to get the word out there. We need more donors. We need people to do the swab. We just need one person to be a perfect match, and it's a simple swab of the cheek. That's it.
All you have to do is swab your cheek.
This is how you can save a life. This is how you can make a difference in this world. Please help.
Hola Eduardo, soy Sofía, tengo 12 años y te voy a contar un poquito de mí. Te quiero agradecer por haber sido mi donante, porque sin saber quién soy me diste vida y eso solo es un acto de amor.
Hola. Hola Sofía, me siento llorar con tu carta. Me siento tan feliz de poder haberte dado vida. No te imaginas cuántas ganas tenía de conocerte.
Bueno, también.
Eres mi hermanita gemela.
Sí.
Como te lo escribe la Sofía en la carta, no es otra cosa que solamente un acto de amor de parte tuya. Me devolviste a mi hija y eso es tremendo.
I just didn't hesitate about it. I was just like, okay, this is perfect. Like, I'll do it. It was an easy choice.
So I'm very excited to meet my son's donor. 2016, October 24th was Quincy's day that he was notified he was cured from sickle cell. So 2020, 4 years later, we get to meet the donor that made it happen.
It felt good knowing that I had a donor. It's like we knew possibility getting cured, don't have to deal with pain crises, don't have to take medicine daily.
Take the leap that one choice can save someone's life, and it's very rewarding. It's not painful, you know, and the end result is someone else gets to experience life differently and without pain.
It was super easy. I was like, yes, I'll do it, 100%. I'd do it again.
Mi nombre es Reinalda Cervantes, vivo aquí en Oakland. Yo soy de un pueblo de Michoacán. Yo empecé a sentirme muy cansada y ya después me empezó a dar temperatura, escalofrío y ahí empezó todo ya, mi sufrimiento. Me dijeron que tenía cáncer, que tenía leucemia. Tengo 8 hermanos y ninguno salió compatible para mí. Pues yo dije, tal vez no voy a encontrar donante. Pues me sentí muy feliz. Le di gracias a Dios porque me dijeron eso, que ya habían encontrado un donante para mí. Yo pensé, tal vez sí voy a vivir. Gracias a Ramón, gracias a él le debo la vida.
Mi nombre es Ramón Alberto Peña Ríos. Yo me enteré de VideMatch gracias a un evento que hicieron en la empresa donde yo trabajaba. Antes de saber de VideMatch, yo no sabía nada del contexto ni de cosas de donación de células madre. Es muy sencillo, nada más es una muestra, no sé qué. Dije, oye, pues está padre, yo quiero ser parte de eso. El momento clave fue que yo dije, yo quiero ser un donador en algún momento. Me siento orgulloso de que haber hecho una pequeña acción, un pequeño acto desinteresado ayudó a alguien. Pensar en que esa persona hoy en día puede levantarse, puede seguir viviendo, me hace estar feliz.
Sin palabras, estoy emocionado, ¿no? Digo, ya te quería conocer, pero no sabía que esto iba a ser el momento de conocerte. Llego ahorita a mi casa, hay una pequeña reunión, toda mi familia, y todavía me encuentro la sorpresa de que te iba a conocer. Híjole, no tengo palabras.
Y me dio mucho gusto conocerte y que toda tu familia, mil bendiciones para ella. Y para ti.
Darte las gracias con todo mi corazón porque me regresaste a mi mamá.
Le doy gracias a Dios y a ustedes que me le devolvieron la vida a mi hija.
Que un poquito de mi hijo le haya servido a usted.
Pues una pulsera y cada que la toques vas a sentir como un abrazo de parte de él.
Te quiero, vive la vida, disfrútala. Échale muchas ganas.
Agradecerle todo lo que hizo por mí, por regalarme la vida. Que Dios lo bendiga a él y a toda su familia.
La verdad, yo tengo ganas de abrazarlo. Que gracias a él tenemos a mi mamá.
¡Bim, bam, ba! ¡Reinalda! ¡Reinalda! ¡Ra, ra, ra!
As part of our vision toward equal outcomes for all patients, the National Marrow Donor Program, Be the Match, conducted clinical trial 15-MMUD. Results showed mismatched unrelated donors, or MMUDs, can dramatically increase transplant options for ethnically diverse patients. Our 15-MMUD study provides compelling evidence that when used with post-transplant cyclophosphamide, MMUDs are a strong option for patients who don't have an HLA match. In fact, results showed outcomes similar to transplants using mismatched relatives, also called haplo. With the potential to influence even more lives, NMDP is launching the ACCESS trial as a follow-up to 15-MMUD, which focused on bone marrow. ACCESS will assess the efficacy of a PBSC transplant from a MMUD in combination with post-transplant cyclophosphamide. Ultimately, MMUD therapies could lead to an increase in donor options, fewer barriers to transplant, and better outcomes for patients.
So my role at Be the Match is as a patient navigator. I work alongside a team of other navigators, and we provide guidance and support to patients and caregivers who are going through the treatment process. So we help identify barriers, we help provide access to resources, and answer questions that they might have. What I love most is those calls where at the beginning a patient is super stressed out, super overwhelmed, and they, at the end of the call, feel like a weight has been lifted off their shoulders. We know that sickle cell disease warriors face financial barriers when it comes to accessing treatment, so that could be with transportation, could be with housing, co-pays, other bills that come up. Sickle cell disease warriors experience isolation, a lack of support, maybe communication issues with healthcare providers. So these resources exist to be able to support sickle cell disease patients and caregivers throughout their journey. Patients like Spencer can come to us for support with counseling, to connect with someone else who's gone through transplants, and for financial assistance to help with those costs associated with treatment.
Transplant day, it was mixed emotions. So I was very tired, very weak, but I was elated to see that bone marrow come in my room. The first thing I noticed were my eyes were white, and I'd never seen my eyes white ever. It was a little overwhelming, but I just took it a day at a time.
In order to learn more about the free resources we offer sickle cell disease warriors and their caregivers, you can reach out to us by web, by email, and by phone. There is no cost. Our resources are available for free for sickle cell disease warriors and caregivers. Patients with sickle cell disease who've had transplant are no longer dictated by the disease. They're able to do the things that they want to do. They don't have these anxieties of when that next crisis is going to hit.
But I'm able to live life without having to worry about a pain crisis. I'm able to spend time with my son. I'm able to take him to tennis lessons and swim practice and just hang out with him without having, a crisis interrupt that time, but just keep fighting and just know that there are people out there like me who are in your corner rooting for you. First and foremost, I am super grateful for Be The Match. Just the team that they have and what they embody, and all of the donors who take their time to give blood, to not even know who they're helping or how much of an impact they're making in someone's life. And what they're doing for a patient and that patient's family is absolutely incredible.
All these resources help patients like Spencer to overcome barriers to get to and through transplant, ultimately improving their quality of life.
Il y a plein de monde qui ont des bonnes raisons de ne pas donner. Je suis sûre que tu peux m'en venir comme ça, plein de bonnes raisons de ne pas donner, mais donne-moi-en une bonne raison de ne pas donner aujourd'hui. Le registre de donneurs de cellules souches, je l'ai un peu entendu comme en 2014, il y avait, je pense, une fille au Québec qui cherchait un donneur. C'est une opportunité pour moi, peut-être de voir si je suis un match avec cette personne-là. Pour l'inscription, c'est vraiment pas compliqué. T'as pas besoin d'appeler personne. Moi, j'aime ça. Je prends jamais le téléphone. Tu vas en ligne, tu t'inscris. Quelques temps après, tu reçois, dans le fond, une petite boîte avec un petit coton-tige. Il t'explique comment le faire. Tu le grattes dans ta bouche. Il n'y a rien de moins compliqué. Tu le remets dans le pot puis tu l'envoies. Sur le coup, en fait, vu que ça faisait quand même 5 ans que je m'étais inscrite, on dirait que j'y croyais pas. Pas dans l'immédiat, là, mais quand même rapidement, je me suis mise à avoir plein d'émotions. Je suis quand même une fille qui est émotive, là. Donc, je me suis mise à pleurer pas mal. C'est sûr que j'étais convaincue de le faire. Par contre, il fallait quand même que je confirme. Il y a plusieurs confirmations, de toute manière, tout au long du processus. Puis, il voulait ma confirmation, que j'y pense vraiment de mon côté avant de leur dire oui. Ça, j'ai trouvé ça hyper respectueux, là, même si moi, je suis du genre à vouloir y aller. Le respect dans lequel tu es traité, puis ta décision aussi est prise en considération. Il n'y a personne qui va te juger et te dire non. Tu fais pas ça pour rien. Tu fais vraiment ça pour quelqu'un. Puis tu sais pas ça peut être qui. Fait que tu le fais, tu sais. Tu te présentes à l'hôpital, tu te prépares. Hema Québec vient te voir. Toujours un représentant avec qui tu as toujours le même représentant aussi, là. Donc, tu as toujours la même équipe autour de toi qui t'explique un petit peu qu'est-ce qu'ils vont faire, puis dans combien de temps à peu près tu vas te réveiller. Tout de suite après le don, tu te dis, bon, tu croises les doigts, ça a-tu marché, ça a-tu marché? Tu veux juste savoir si ça a marché, mais tu le sauras peut-être pas. Tu le sauras peut-être jamais. Donc ça, il faut que tu le prennes en considération aussi que quand tu donnes, tu t'attends à rien recevoir. Moi, j'avais pas ressenti de douleur. J'ai ressenti aucune douleur. C'est sûr que oui, un petit peu de compression là, quand t'es couché trop longtemps là, dans la même position. C'est ça, c'est pas agréable. Mais j'avais pas de douleur dans le bas du dos. C'est là où ils font les ponctions. J'ai eu un mal de tête, mais ça a été la seule douleur que j'ai eue. Tu sais, quand j'ai donné en 2014 mon petit échantillon de bouche, là, tu te rends pas compte de l'impact que tu peux avoir au final. Tu sais, puis Et j'y pense aujourd'hui, je vais y penser toute ma vie, que juste ce petit geste-là, ça donne ça, tu sais.